Hey, everybody. It's Mr. Baldwin. Hopefully, you are doing well today. I wanted to talk about intelligences and what does it mean to be intelligent and what does it mean to be an intelligent person. So, let's take a little look see along with the topics that we are covering today. So, let's go into them. So, our first little one here is what does it mean to be intelligent? What does it mean to be intelligent? So, is intelligence is the ability to learn from experiences and to think rationally and to deal with the environment. So we're talking about when you come to the school here, you deal with the environment that's presented to you. Oh, there's a fire alarm here. What do we do when we have a fire alarm? So that's a sign of intelligence out there. And please realize we're not talking about achievement. We're not talking about achievement when it comes to different items out there. So we are not talking about how well we do on these tasks out here. We're only talking about the ability to learn from experiences. And achievement is when you gain knowledge from a certain experience. So please write down those two definitions for yourself here so that we can apply them to topics in a little bit. So the first person that invented a different view on different ideas here was this guy by the name of Spearman, and Spearman invented his two-factor theory. His factor has the G factor, which is general knowledge, and then specific factor knowledge as well here. So let's take a little look see and more into his little topic.
Test lasts 30 minutes. Starting you now.
To make things interesting, psychologist Vivian Hill has chosen sections from some of the most difficult IQ tests. Section 1 is a test of abstract reasoning. Try looking at this set of patterns and decide what they have in common. And then choose which of the extra shapes matches those patterns. In this simple example, it's obvious, but it can get fiendishly difficult. The IQ test has lasted so long because it's got an almost magical property. It seems to show that we have one general all-round ability, a kind of all-purpose thinking skill, that can be represented by a single number, the IQ score. Very convenient if you want to compare people. And this is how it works. The IQ test consists of many sections that seem unconnected.
What does an entomologist study?
So section 2 is vocabulary and general knowledge.
What's the capital of Jordan?
Amman.
Section 3 is a memory test.
8175. Backwards.
5718.
And section 4 is a test of our spatial ability, the ability to reproduce a pattern with a set of blocks.
Wow, that was tough.
Common sense might tell us that we are good at some of these sections, but bad at others. But in this case, common sense is wrong. On average, if we're good at one of these sections, we tend to be good at all of them. And from this comes the idea that intelligence is some kind of general, all-round ability. To the professionals, it's now known by a single small letter, G.
If you are good at one thing, you tend to be good at many things.
So in school here, we have all of you have your class rank, and that is your essentially your G score on how well you're intelligent when it comes to the achievement of school. So thinking about that time, the S factor is associated with the personal abilities, specific knowledge or specific factor. So this guy comes into play next year, and he wants to outdo Spearman, and this is Thornstone's theory of primary mental abilities. Okay, so he has 7 different factors. So write down the 7 factors. You have spatial, visual relationships, perception of speed, numeric abilities, verbal comprehension, memory, word fluency, and then deductive and inductive reasoning. So this is his contribution to the idea of intelligences and how we are intelligent when it comes to them. So again, we started off with 2, now we're up to 7 through Thirdson's theory of primary mental abilities. Let's go to the next little topic here. This is the one that's at play during our time today. This is the theory that is most likely used here at the high school, is that we realize that many of you are intelligent in many things, and here is Howard Gardner and his 8 different kinds of intelligence with us. Linguistic intelligences, mathematic intelligences, visual spatial intelligences, body kinesthetic, music and rhythm, interpersonal intelligences, intrapersonal, to be in touch with our own feelings, and then last but not least, the naturalistic, in tune with the environment. So they've expanded from G and S to 3rd grade 7, and now we're up to 8 intelligences. So let's watch a little video.
That doesn't matter, Dr. Gardner, Professor Gardner. You can call me Howard, too. I mean,
For over 20 years, Professor Howard Gardner has been developing just about the most controversial theory going.
the major move I've made in the study of intelligence is to pluralize it. I've come up with an alternative view, which is called multiple intelligence theory, to perform some kind of an action in the area of music or in the area of navigation is very different than to perform in a scholastic kind of assignment. And my whole analysis over many years suggests it's a mistake. It's a category error to lump all these together and to call them intelligence.
Professor Gardner is convinced we have at least 8 relatively separate intelligences. This is completely opposite to the IQ, which assumes that we all have just one general intelligence.
So you might be wonderful at understanding other people, but a disaster at doing crossword puzzles or at flying an airplane. So we do know that in individuals, high performance in one area simply doesn't predict high performance in other areas.
The power of Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences comes from its growing influence in schools. The Richard Hale School in Hertfordshire uses it in the classroom. Very like you. Each pupil finds their strongest intelligence.
I turned out to be mathematical, interpersonal, musical and kinesthetic, logical and interpersonal, kinesthetic and intrapersonal.
And this influences how they're taught. Even their assignments can be tailored to their specific intelligence.
As we spin, we aim poles off of each other and create energy.
In multiple intelligence theory, everyone's good at something. So potentially, the classroom's got something for everybody. But is Gardner's theory good science?
Multiple intelligences, there's actually, despite all the interest in it, there's very little research on it.
We can talk about David Beckham plays football intelligently, but whether we would say he was intelligent or compare his intelligence to that of Stephen Fry is another matter altogether.
Surely some people are more able to have control over their bodies than others and walk in a more elegant way. But is it really an intelligence?
Football players may well not be scholastically intelligent, and so they don't do well in a school with reading and writing and so on. If we lived in a non-literate society, the people who do well in school would not emerge at all, and perhaps people who are good in football would be better hunters and better strategists about survival, and then we'd be calling them smart, and the people who had the potential to read and write would be irrelevant because there'd be no reading and writing there.
So kind of a debate out there. Something that we think about, and I would like you to think about more, is the who's right? Is it just your IQ that if you're good at one thing, you're good at lots of different things, or is Thurdson and Gardner correct when it comes to being ability to different topics. And I'd like to have you guys explore that idea on the link, which is connected on the class link when it comes to working on this for today. It is called Parlay. Parlay is a pretty easy skill that allows you to stick your neck out and talk about your different topics and not worry about giving your name. It's completely anonymous. So go back after completing this little section here and go back in there and actually let's discuss the topic of are you good at one thing, you're good at all things, the GNS, the Spearman, or is it a combination of Gardner? So let's decide to check that out.